When President Donald Trump made good last summer on his promise to slap steep tariffs on a host of Chinese imports, some Chinese companies struggled to remain profitable. Others got creative. From the GateHouse Media studios, I'm Dave Morris. GateHouse Media data analysis of Chinese imports to the United States shows an uptick in the potential misclassification of product codes to avoid the higher tariffs. It's a story our Deanne Zhang is working on from the National Data and Investigative Team. And she joins us now. And Deanne, what have you learned?
So what I did is I took all the imports data from U.S. Census Bureau, and I'm interested in the goods which are attached to the Trump's tariffs and the goods without those tariffs. And then I compare all the imports value of those goods. The goods with Trump's values, I hope them to going down, and the goods without those tariffs, I hope them to going up. So within those two comparisons, I can tell there might be, the huge difference. And then using the methodology I got from orders issued by CPB is there's like one plywood case. So they're trying to mix up with hardwood plywood and softwood plywood. So the imports value of hardwood plywood is going down because of large anti-dumping duty, and the imports value of the soft plywood is going up because there's 0 to 8 tariff rate. So learn from them and kind of copy the methodology from that case. I use that into my analysis and, come up with some potential misclassification for some kind of good.
I found this an interesting story. The drama, of course, is once these tariffs are in place, some Chinese companies are struggling, but others are not so. Others got creative. One thing I didn't know was this unique sort of social security number that there's that, as you mentioned, the 10-digit classification code. You gave the example of plywood. It's just perhaps one number or two from that code that makes a difference.
Yes. So 10 digits HTS code is really like a social security number for a good. So they have like chapters, headings, subheading, and statistic stuff. And all those codes so each one codes are like categorized in one HTS code. That's how unique it is.
It's great reporting here by Deanne on this. And let me ask you this, when I'm reading through this, I kept wondering, okay, are honest mistakes being made here or no?
It's actually half and half. So I talked to one guy who's the business or marketing director for EcoLight at Greenlight, and he told me, because I have one potential misclassification list in my story about lamps, and I asked him, do people change or misclassification happening between the LED light and discharge lamp? Because I talked to one guy from Shenzhen, China. He's a trade broker, and he told me one real example that some people caught him, be like, their cargoes were caught by CPB, and they got a huge fine because of this misclassification. So they're doing is literally miscoding between lamps. So I know this, and I talked to this guy who is the marketing director at EcoLight, and he told me actually it can be half and half. Because discharge lamp are replacing LED lamp, because LED lamp is more like high-tech technology, high-tech stuff recently, and also can cause, the trade war is going on, and there's more tariff adding on those discharge lamps. So people can be creative and getting into like dark side and trying to be, get away of those tariffs. So it can happen, but it just really depends on traders, like what they're thinking. It can also be unintentionally because the LED lamp is new technology and it just came out. People just don't know the HTS code whatsoever. So I don't know. It just really depends on them.
So let's say a company was trying to get around some of these tariffs. There are fines associated with it. Did you find that perhaps the fines are worse than the tariffs sometimes?
Yeah, it is. So the guy I talked to who told me the examples of this cargo caught by CBP. It happens after Trump announced the tariff rate. And actually now the company was bankrupt. So it was really, it's a sad story.
Importer or exporter, who pays the tariffs?
It really depends. So it's interesting that we are always thinking about Chinese exporter will be the one who pay the tariff, but actually importer of record will be the one who pay the fine if they got something wrong.
Found it interesting. We're chatting with Deanne Zhang here about tariffs and Chinese imports and exports here. I alluded to this a little bit. What is rerouting, and is that legal or illegal?
It's illegal in the U.S. So rerouting is really, it's also have another well-known name called transshipping. Thinking about that, if you have something shipped from China to U.S. and due to this huge tariff and trade war thing, you might want to think about maybe you want to reroute to a nearby country. So what a lot of Chinese people or Chinese traders, they're trying to do now is ship the stuff to Vietnam or Singapore first, and then ship to the U.S. so they can get rid of those huge tariffs.
It's interesting stuff. You can learn more about this. Go to your GateHouse Media Properties and GateHouseNews.com. You can follow Deanne Zhang on Twitter as well. Her Twitter handle, Deanne_Zhang_. Thanks so much for diving into this interesting topic, and thanks for your time today. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.